Hello students. So till now only Dinesh has joined. Okay, we'll start the session. Meanwhile, all the students can join. So let me share my screen first. Is my screen is visible to all? Yes, please confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's start then. So let me introduce myself. My name is Ankit Kumar Malik, a PhD scholar as well as PMRA fellow from IIT BHU. And topics for the days are genetics first, second, third, fourth, and clinician's perspective fourth. And the course instructor for the same is Professor Sanjeeva Srivastava from IIT Bombay. So let's proceed with the last year's assignment, week 4, from question 1. And question 1 states that two plants of same species having two different seeds color were cross-pollinated. So the resultant progeny gave a new color of seeds, and none of the previous generation seed colors appeared. So what could be the reason behind such results? So is it complete dominancy, incomplete dominance, codominance, or masking of dominance? So you guys want to explain the question? Hmm, Dinesh, can you please explain what he was about to?
So I think so. It is masking of the dominance.
Okay, masking of the dominance. Why?
Sir, I can't see the question.
Wait,
Hello.
wait, wait. I'm resharing my screen. Wait. Now is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm. No. Why masking of dominance?
So, sir, as we can see in the question that during the cross pollination, new color of seeds were produced. So
Okay.
either it could be a complete dominance or masking of dominance.
Okay. And what about incomplete dominance? Do you have any suggestions about incomplete dominance?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
in incomplete dominance, there should be some same color seeds.
Okay. And complete and codominance?
So codominance,
I'm
I
asking
don't have any
suggestions.
idea, Uncle.
Okay. So in this question, so certainly the phenomenon we are describing here is likely due to the presence of multiple genes controlling seed color in the plants. So in most cases, seed color is a polygenic trait. So meaning it is influenced by the interaction of multiple genes. where each gene may have different alleles or variants that can contribute to overall phenotype. So when two plants with different seed colors are cross-pollinated, so their offsprings inherit a combination of genes from both the parents. So in this case, here it's possible that the new color observed in the progeny is a result of a unique combination of alleles from both the parental plants and leading to a expression of a color not seen in either of the parent plants. So it could be here, the answer is incomplete dominance. I'll explain why it is incomplete dominance. Wait, just wait. Hmm. Wait, guys, I'm getting a call. I'll be back. हाँ जी. हाँ जी. So, did you get? Am I clear? Hello? Hello? Am I audible to you guys? Hello? Okay, let's begin with the question one from where we have left. So, in this question, additionally, some genetic recombination during the formation of gametes like pollen or egg cells can lead to novel combinations of alleles. So, the segregation and recombination of genes during meiosis contribute to genetic diversity in the offspring. So, it is important here to note that the expression of traits like seed color can be influenced by the interaction of multiple genes and some environmental factors. So the result you observe due to the incomplete dominancy, due to the complex interplay of these genetics and some environmental factors, so leading to a unique seed color in the progeny. So here I'll explain what complete dominancy, what incomplete dominancy, or what dominancy is. So we'll start with the complete dominancy. So complete dominancy is a genetic phenomenon where one allele of a gene completely masks the expression of the other allele in the heterogeneous individual, as you can see here. So in this scenario, so the dominant allele often denoted by a capital letter, which determines the phenotype, while the recessive allele typically represented by a lowercase letter. As you can see here, some lowercase letters are here, so which is represented. This is a recessive allele, so which has no observable effects on the organism's appearance. So the presence of one or two dominant alleles resulted in the same effects, overshading the influence of any recessive alleles. So as compared to the incomplete dominancy, so in incomplete dominancy, it is a genetic phenomenon where neither allele of a gene is completely dominant over the other. so which results in an intermediate phenotype in the heterozygous individuals. And in the case of codominancy is a genetic scenario where both the alleles of a gene are expressed fully or independently in the heterozygous individuals, so resulting in the simultaneous presence of both the phenotypes. So according to all these concepts, so the answer for this will be so the incomplete dominancy. So moving forward to the next question, which is 2, it states that Rahul is a second year BSc student in the genetics course. So he wanted to cross two true breeding flowers, this pink denoted by capital P, and white denoted by double small p. So if he crosses these two plants, so then what would he expect to see in the F1 and F2 generations? So there are four possible alternatives to this answer is in F1 generation, all the flowers are white in color, or F2 is 3:1, that is pink or white. And the option 2 is in F1, all the flowers are white in color, and F2 3:1, that is white and pink. And option 3 states that all the flowers are in pink in color, and F2 3:1, that is white or pink. So in statement 4, the option 4, all the flowers are pink in color, F2 3:1, pink or white. So here it is based on some calculations. Wait, am I sold? So it is based on the monohybrid cross. So here in the F1 generation, all the offspring will be heterozygous, that is capital P or small p, because each parent contributes one allele to the offspring. Since capital P, that is pink, is incompletely dominant over the white, that is small p. In some cases, the F1 generation plants may exhibit an intermediate phenotype, possibly resulting in some light pink flowers. So in the F2 generation, if we cross the heterozygous F1 plants, that is capital P or small p, here one note is there. I'm in question, it is capital P or small p, and in the explanation is capital A and small a. So don't confuse about capital A and capital P. Both are same. So in F2 generation, so the ratio arises due to the possible combination of alleles during segregation and recombination types of things. So approximately 75% of the F2 plants would be true breeding plant, that is double capital P, and 25% would be true breeding white P, that is double small p. Okay, so back to the question. So according to the question, so Rahul can anticipate observing a range of flowers color in the F1 generation, so with a more Mendelian, that is 3:1 phenotype ratio in the F2 generation, demonstrating the principles of genetic genetic inheritance and the segregation of alleles. So according to all these concepts, so the true answer would be 3:1 for F2 generation, and all the flowers are pink in color for generation F1. So the D answer is the correct for this question. Moving forward to the next question, that is question 3. So here are some concepts are given below. So to understand the concept of heredity, so different hypotheses were given. Which of the following statement is true about blending hypothesis? So the statement first states that the blended inheritance concept proposes that offspring's physical characteristics are a hybrid of the parents, just like mixing of colors. And statements 2 states that the blended inheritance concept wait, एक second. Is my screen visible to all? Nobody will. Okay. Okay. So let's start with the explanation. So the statement third states that the blended inheritance concept proposes that the chromosomes are the vehicles for heredity, and statement D says that none of the above mentioned statements could explain the concept of blending hypothesis. So let me first explain the what is blending hypothesis. So the blending hypothesis is prevalent in the history of genetics prior to the Mendel's work. So posited that the hereditary material from two parents which blends together much like mixing plants, resulting in an intermediate phenotype in their particular offsprings. So according to these hypotheses, so traits from the parental generation would become permanently mixed, making it challenging to explain the reappearance of the ancestral traits in the subsequent generations. So however, Mendel's groundbreaking experiments with pea plants in the mid 19th century provided the evidence against the blended hypothesis. So according to the Mendel's hypothesis, this laid the foundation for understanding of particulate inheritance with genes as wait, I have explained some with photographs also. Ah. So, according to the Mendel's hypothesis, so this laid the foundation of the understanding of particulate, challenging and ultimately debunking the blending hypothesis in favor of Mendelian genetics. So according to all these concepts, so coming back to the question, so the statement A, that is the blended inheritance concept, proposes that offspring's physical characteristics are a hybrid of the parents, just like mixing of the colors, is the correct statement about the blending hypothesis. So the correct answer for the question 3 is statement A and option A. Moving on to the next question, that is question 4. So here are some common general questions of class 10th and 11th. So we'll proceed. So question 4 states that if a person with type O blood marries a woman of type AB blood group, so what are the possible blood group types could their children have? So is it AB, A or B? Option B is type B, type AB. Option C is type A, type B or type and type O. And the option D is type A and type B. Anyone would like to answer this question? This is a very simple question and basic question. Anyone? Okay, let me continue then. So here in the blood group system, so blood types are determined by the presence or absence of a specific antigens on the surface of a red blood cells. So the possible blood group types of the children would depends on the genotypes of the parents. So according to the question, if the person with type O blood has the genotype of double O, that is homozygous recessive, and the women with the type AB blood has the genotype of AB, that is heterozygous. So the possible blood group types of the children could be A or B. So this is because the person with type O blood can only contribute an O allele, while the woman with type AB blood can contribute either an A or a B allele. So the resulting combination would be AO, BO, leading to the blood type, that is A or B in their offsprings. So here it is important to note that the blood type O is a recessive kind of thing, and individuals with blood type AB express both A and B antigens. Therefore, the children would inherit one allele from each parent, resulting the potential for the blood group types are type A, type B, but not AB. So according to all these things, here in option 4, type A and type B are given. So according to the concept and the theories, so the option 4 is the correct one. That is type A and type B are the possible blood groups types could their children have. So moving to the next question, that is question 5. So here you came across a maize field and found maize plants with two different seeds. One with the white seeds, that is uh, represented here with small w, and one with the yellow seeds represented here with small y. So you performed a cross pollination between these two plants. So the resulting F1 generation had both type of plants in equal proportion. That is 50% plants with white seeds and 50% plants with yellow seeds. So what would be the genotype of plant small w, that is white seeds, for this trait? So here we have some four options are there. That is capital W, that is white, capital W small w, that is would be recessive inherent, and the third option is small w, and option 4 is data insufficient. So here, according to the data which we have, based on the information provided here, if the resulting F1 generation had both types of plants in equal proportion with 50% exhibiting, wait, I have made some calculations also. So based on the information provided here, so both type of plants in equal proportion with 50% exhibiting white seeds and 50% displaying the yellow seeds. So it suggests that the genotype of the plant labeled with the small w is a heterozygous for this trait. And in other words, so the plant with small w carries one dominant allele, that is capital W, and one recessive allele, which is small w, as mentioned in the question, for some seed color. So here this genotype is represented as small capital W and small w. So this indicates incomplete dominancy in the expression of seed color in maize plants. So where the heterozygous condition results in an intermediate phenotype observed as a blend for two parental traits. So therefore, the genotype of the plant with small w is likely capital W and small w is all white for this plant. So if the resulting F1 generation had both types of plant in equal portion, that with 50% exhibiting white seeds and 50% displaying some yellow seeds. So this suggests with the genotype of the plant labeled with small w is heterozygous for this trait. So according to all this calculation and theories, so the right answer is for this question is the option B, which have capital W and small w, and option B, that is with all white. And moving to the next question, that is question 6. So here question states that Mithilesh has one black colored guinea pig. So he came to know that the trait black, that is capital B, is dominant over the white color trait. So but he became curious to know whether the genotype is homozygous or heterozygous. What should he do to determine the genotype of this guinea pig? So the possible options are he could cross the guinea pig with a white colored guinea pig to perform a test cross, and he should perform a back cross, or he should cross the guinea pig with another phenotypical identical guinea pig. And the last option for this is it is not possible to determine the genotype of the organisms. So here to understand this question, first we'll understand the concept of test cross. What test cross is? So a test cross is a genetic experiment designed to determine the genotype of an organism expressing a dominant phenotype. It involves crossing the organism in question with an individual that is homozygous recessive for the trait of interest. Understood? So the choice of a homozygous recessive partner simplifies the analysis, as all offspring will inherit one recessive allele from the homozygous recessive parent. So if the organism being tested is homozygous dominant, so all the offspring in the test cross will display dominant phenotype. So however, if the organism being tested is heterozygous, the offspring will exhibit a 1:1 ratio of the dominant to recessive phenotypes. So the test cross is a valuable tool in genetics for for revealing the genetic makeup of individual with dominant phenotypes, and is especially useful when the genotype is unknown. So coming back to the question, so here, so Mithilesh has to determine the genotype of his black colored guinea pig. Wait. Hmm. So we'll explain with this example. So here he has to determine the genotype of his black colored guinea pig. So Mithilesh can perform a test cross with the guinea pig that has known homozygous recessive genotype for the white color trait. So the non-homozygous recessive guinea pig will only contribute the recessive alleles of the offspring. So if Mithilesh guinea pig is a homozygous for the black color trait, so then all the offspring from the test cross will be black because they inherit a dominant allele from the black guinea pig and a recessive allele with a white guinea pig. So on the other hand, if Mithilesh guinea pig is heterozygous, So then the offspring will exhibit 1:1 ratio of black to white, as they can inherit either the dominant allele or the recessive allele from the black guinea pig. So according to all these concepts and theories, so here option A is the correct one. So Mithilesh should cross the guinea pig with a white color guinea pig to perform a test cross. So option A is the correct one. Moving to the next question, that is question 7. This is also a simple question. So question 7 states that a man with the B positive blood group had a child with O positive blood group. So can you determine the possible genotypes of the parents? So anyone would like to participate in the discussion of this question? Anyone? Okay, let me continue. So here I have some calculations. So here the ABO blood group system. I've in earlier question I've discussed the same thing. In question 5, both the questions are kind of same with some same concept. So I'll repeat that. So in a blood group system, which involves the multiple alleles, but the Rh factor denotes the positive or a negative sign, is determined by a single gene locus. In this case, a man with a B positive blood group and the child with O positive blood group both share the Rh positive factor. So the Rh positive allele is dominant to the Rh negative allele. So here, if the man has B positive blood group, he could have the genotype of capital B or double capital B or capital B or small b. So as both the genotype, here I can denote it by B or O. Okay. So as both genotypes would result in the expression of the dominant Rh positive allele. So the child has O positive blood group, which means they must have inherited an O allele from the other parent. So according to these concepts, so the possible answer for this question, the possible genotypes of the parents here is the states in the option A. The option A is the right answer for the correct for the question 7. Moving to the next question, that is question 8. So question 8 states that Ramakant has a hobby of growing flowers in his garden. In the winter season, he planted dahlia plants. So the flower position of dahlia plants is determined by axial or terminal alleles. So the axial alleles are dominant to terminal ones. So can you state all the possible F1 and F2 genotypes and phenotypes from a cross involving parents that are homozygous for each trait? So here I have some basic concepts and some theories. Hmm. So what question states is Ramakant has a hobby. Okay. So certainly, let's assume that A represents the allele for axial position, that is which is dominant, and small a represents and the allele for the terminal position, which is recessive. So if Ramakant crosses two parents with the homozygous for each trait, that is with parent 1 that is homozygous dominant for axial position and parent 2 homozygous recessive for the terminal position. So in the F1 generation, all the offspring will be heterozygous for both the traits. The genotype of the F1 plants is capital or small o, and the phenotype will display the axial position since the axial allele is the dominant one here. And same for the F2 generation. If two F1 individuals are crossed with each other, the possible genotypes and phenotypes can be determined by using Punnett square. There's one thing called Punnett square. So coming back to the question, so according to this, so the option D is the correct one, which states that the F1 generation with all axial and F2 generation with double axial, the homozygous, heterozygous, and a recessive one, terminal. So the option D is the correct answer for the question 8. Option D. And moving to the question next question, this is question 9. So in question 9, states that you have performed a dihybrid cross. What is the probability of homozygous individual for both characters in F2 generation of a dihybrid cross? This question also involves some calculations. So anyone would like to explain? Okay, so let me continue. So before understanding this question, there's one thing called dihybrid cross. We'll proceed with the dihybrid cross first, then we'll see the question. So this concept is called dihybrid cross. So in dihybrid cross, where two traits are considered simultaneously, the probability of obtaining homozygous individual for both the characters in the F2 generation, which can be determined by multiplying the individual probabilities of obtaining homozygous individual for each trait. So let's assume the traits are represented by two genes. That is A, here that is YR. I'm proceeding with the A or capital A or capital B, or we can say Y or R. So with homozygous dominant genotypes represented as double capital Y and capital double R respectively. So the probability of obtaining homozygous individual for each trait is 1 by 4 here. So there are four possible wait. Hmm. So there are four possible genotypes in the F2 generation. The only one of them is a homozygous dominant. And according to the dihybrid cross, which is a genetic experiment that involves the simultaneous consideration of two different traits governed by the different gene called loci. So in this type of cross, individual heterozygous for both traits are mated, exploring the inheritance pattern of two distinct characteristics. So the Punnett square is a commonly employed tool. In last question also the Punnett square was there. So the Punnett square is the wait. I'll show you the calculation first. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So according to the Punnett square is a commonly employed tool to predict the possible combination of alleles in the offspring. So the hybrid cross allows for the examination of the independent assortment of genes located on the separate chromosomes. So which reveals the various genotypic and phenotypic combinations that can arise in the progeny. So this type of genetic analysis extends our understanding beyond the patterns observed in the monohybrid crosses, which provides these insights into the complexities of gene interactions and the inheritance of multiple traits simultaneously. So according to this tallies, we have some calculations. So the that is 1 by 4 here. So there are four possible genotypes in the F2 generation, and trait is 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 here, and the option D. So according to the theories and concepts, so the option D is the correct answer for the question 9. So moving to the next question, that is question 10. Question 10 states that Shushila had an observation that when a white flower crossbreeds with a black flower, it produces gray colored flowers. Choose the correct statement for the observation. So there are four observations mentioned here with some statements. So the statement first states that it follows Mendeley's law of segregation. Question or statement B states that it does not follow Mendeley's law of segregation. So the option C is it follows Mendeley's law of independent assortment, and option D is it does not follow Mendeley's law of independent assortment. So I'll explain this question with this diagram. So the Mendeley's law of segregation. So the Mendeley's law of segregation is a fundamental principle in the field of genetics proposed by Mendeley on his experiment with pea plants. So the law states that during the formation of gametes, that is sperm or egg cells, the two alleles for a gene segregate or separate from each other, and each gamete receives only one allele. So this segregation ensures that each offspring inherits one allele from each parent, so contributing to the genetic diversity in the population. So consequently, during fertilization, when gametes combine, the offspring will have two alleles for each gene, one from each parent. So this principle of segregation elucidates the inheritance pattern of traits from one generation to the next. So which provides the foundation for understanding the transmission of genetic information and the basis of Mendele's genetics. So according to this law, once again we'll back to the question. So here Sushila had an observation that when a white flower crossbreeds with a black flower, it produces gray colored flowers. So here the the correct statement from Sushila's observation is likely indicative of incomplete dominancy. So in complete dominancy, the heterozygous condition result in an intermediate phenotype that is a blend of traits expressed by the homozygous individual. So here in this case, so the cross between a white flower, which may be represent a homozygous recessive genotype, and a black flower, that is the homozygous dominant genotype. So which yields gray colored flowers in the heterozygous offspring. So Sushila's observation contrasts with complete dominancy, where one allele completely masks the expression of the other, resulting in a phenotype resembling one of the parent traits. So in incomplete dominancy, a heterozygous individual exhibit the phenotype that is an intermediate or blended combination of the parental traits. So here, according to the this laws of segregation and law of independent segregation, so it does not follow any law of segregation or any law of independent assortment. So in this question, two statements are correct: the option B and option D. Option B states that it does not follow law of segregation, and option D, which states it does not follow Mendel's law of independent assortment. So for this question, two answers are correct. That is option B and option D. Both are correct statement for this Sushila's observation. So this is all for today. Okay. So we'll meet in the next class. So you guys can leave the session.